last week was super crazy. So many messages, so many problems and things that we got to fix, just kind of like work through, but we'll get there. We're doing great. Everyone's putting in an effort, and that's what I expect, and I appreciate it. Don't stress out. Don't worry. If anything, I'm being more lenient because of the craziness. So keep doing your best. I appreciate it. But today, order of operations. We know this little PEMDAS, right? We know that's parentheses and grouping symbols. Exponents, multiplication and division are together. Same thing with addition and subtraction. So I'm just going to jump right into the examples. Example 1, the only problem is a lot of negative numbers. So if you aren't 100% comfortable with negatives, you're probably going to have to put a little bit more work into this. Okay, so the first thing we do is multiply or divide. We should know that means multiplication. And a -2 times -2 equals a +4, if you're remembering correctly. So keep the -2 plus 4, and then this -2 over 2 is -1, but there's a negative in front of it, so we kind of know it's going to become +1. Okay, so now we just have addition, and these are opposite signs, so the difference is 2, and it's positive, so we keep the +2. Plus 1, and we end up with 3. So it's not super difficult, it's just not getting confused by the signs. That's the hard part. So take a look at it really quickly, see what we did. We multiplied and divided first. I'll put the division symbol there. The negative became a positive. The negative times negative also became a positive. And so we end up with, did I forget? Oh, we have -2 plus 4, which becomes +2, plus 1 is 3. And that's your answer. So just keep meticulous track of those signs. That'll take us right to example 2. Example 2 gets a little crazier, but never fear, we'll figure it out. Wow, it gets really crazier. All right, that was a lot. This is why I tried to do PowerPoints, but the quality wasn't always great. You couldn't see everything. There's a huge dot in the middle, so I went back to the old-fashioned way. So parentheses first. We see this parentheses. Obviously, we see these parentheses over there, but that just means multiplication, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Parentheses first means when there's something grouped in a parenthesis. So right here, we have a 2 and a -4. So automatically, opposite signs, 2 minus 4, and we end up with -2. So -3 times -2. All of this in here, do you see how all of this is multiplication? So what we're going to do is we're just going to multiply, multiply, multiply. -4 times -2 is +8, times -3 is -24. And then over here, do the multiplication first. 3 times 4 is 12, and they're both negative, so same signs, keeps positive, and then divided by 2. So we have a few things we still have to do because there's still multiplication and division here. So we'll do that first. -3 times -2 is +6. Keep your -24 because we haven't done anything with it yet. And then over here, 12 divided by 2 is 6. So 6 minus 24 plus 6. And what you can do is, because these are both positive, you can just do 6 plus 6 first and do 12 and then do -24 and get -12. Or you could do 6 minus 24, find the difference is 18 and it's negative because the negative is bigger, and then plus 6 is -12. So there's no real trick to make this easier. It's just either you're working with negatives and you're getting familiar with the process, or you're not. So at this point, it's just very intricate. You just gotta pay attention. All that's multiplication. This is multiplication. Remember when there's a fraction, you simplify the top and bottom and then divide. It's kind of like a grouping symbol. I know that was a while ago and we've had so much going on since then. But simplify the top and bottom and then divide. All right. This is example 2. Take a good look at it, study it, stop the video, pause it, check the steps again. Whatever you need to do to make sure you understand. Example 3. They're adding in a grouping symbol that's bigger than parentheses. It's brackets, and then braces is the curly ones. Basically, when there's brackets, that just means we're grouping a group. It's really kind of weird. Whew. So what this means is that we do everything, oh, because there's a bunch of parentheses in here, instead of doing parentheses, they did brackets. Okay, so looking in here, look inside the grouping symbols first. Do we see a multiplication? -4 and -5 is positive 20. And then don't forget that, because remember when we talked about terms and how positive and negative numbers break up terms? That's how you know that you're not going to multiply 3 by this. So we end up with -3 minus 20. So -3 minus 20 is -23, because they're both in the same direction. And then remember, I kind of changed this to a parentheses because there's no need for a big bracket anymore. There's a negative in front of it. So don't lose your negative signs. Because these are both negatives, boop, boop, positive. So -2 plus 23, the difference is 21, and the positive is bigger. So our answer is 21. So when you have a bunch of parentheses and stuff, make sure if there's a positive or negative in between, that means subtract. So you can't just multiply all that together. Only multiply the stuff that's squished up right next to each other, and then subtract or add if you need to. So this is one of those situations where the -2 kind of comes last, because all of this is grouped, and then there's a negative in front of it, and then you can combine the -2 with it. So take a look at the handiwork. Isn't it so weird not to see each other? Like, I think it's so weird. I'm getting over it. Like, I just want to be at school again, but that's just me. Example 4. They put a positive here, but that's kind of understood anyways. Okay, this one doesn't seem too difficult. There's just 2 multiplications, right? So we have -2, can't do anything with that because it's not multiplied. 3 times -2 is -6 because they're opposite signs. And then over here, -2 and +4 is -8. So you just end up with 3 negative numbers, and all you have to do, since they're the same signs, and you're adding or subtracting, just add the numbers, keep the signs, and you end up with -16. And that is all the information for today. There's a practice set. Message me on Google Classroom or wherever if you can't figure something out. Send me pictures of the paper, and I'll like do problems with you. Whatever you need to do to figure it out. I am accessible. All right, have a good day.